Okay, so once again, good morning, everybody. So today is Thursday, and our topic for today is about the story of Max. So, Max is a hearing dog. Do you remember our previous lesson in English? We got Josh, Milton, and then Lady. They are all rescue dog, right? They are all rescue dogs. So, today we are going to study the story of Max. So Max is also a rescue dog. She helped other people like Josh, Milton, and Lady. But before that, let's have first the vocabulary for today. First is we have deaf. Deaf is anyone. It's not only person. Anyone that cannot hear. So if an animal, for example, if a dog cannot hear, therefore he's a deaf. If a person cannot hear, he's a deaf also. So it's not only a person, it could be an animal. So deaf is anyone that cannot hear. And then alarm clock, you know this one already. Siren. Siren is a device that gives sound for alert or warning. If you go to a mall, supermarket, shops, or any establishments, you can see these ones. So what is this? What is the use of this? This one gives alert to people. Like for example, there's a fire in the building. This will ring, so it will give an alert to the people, or yes, to the people inside the establishments to go out because there's a fire, for example. So it gives sounds for alert or warning. How do we call this one again? Siren. Okay, siren. Next is communicate. Communicate, or you're going to talk to other person. Speak to other person, communicate. And then street, pole. Okay, now let's have the story of Max. So let's read first. Max is a hearing dog. Max is a hearing dog. His owner Sylvia is a deaf. His owner Sylvia is a deaf, meaning the boss of Max is a deaf. And what is the name of her owner? Sylvia. Okay, Sylvia. She cannot hear. Who cannot hear? Max or Sylvia? Sylvia. Sylvia cannot hear. Max tells Sylvia when a telephone or an alarm clock rings. Again, Max tells Sylvia when a telephone or an alarm clock rings. Max tells her when someone says her name. Max tells her when someone says her name. In the street, Max tells when he hears a siren. In the street, Max tells when he hears a siren. Max puts his paw on his owner's leg to communicate. Max puts his paw on his owner's leg to communicate. Okay, one more time. Max is a hearing dog. His owner Sylvia is a deaf. She cannot hear. Max tells Sylvia when a telephone or an alarm clock rings. Max tells her when someone says her name. In the street, Max tells when he hears a siren. Max puts his paw on his owner's leg to communicate. Okay, so what is the name of the dog? What is the name of the dog? Max is the name of the hearing dog. Who is Max? Max is a hearing dog. So, what is the name of the owner of the dog? The owner of the dog is Sylvia. And Sylvia is a deaf. And again, what is a deaf? Deaf is anyone that cannot hear. Okay, so what are the things that Max doing to help Sylvia? First, Max tells Sylvia when a telephone or an alarm clock rings. Second, Max tells her when someone says her name. And third, Max tells when he hears a siren. And last, Max puts his paw on his owner's leg to communicate. So my last question is, how does Max communicate to her owner? How does Max communicate to Sylvia? Max puts his paw on his owner's leg to communicate. Okay, so what you're going to do here, the same as last time, you are going to read this one and then take a video. Okay, read this one and then take a video. This is on page 33 in your activity book. And then at the same time, answer the following questions. Okay, let's read for one more time. Max is a hearing dog. His owner Sylvia is a deaf. She cannot hear. Max tells Sylvia when a telephone or an alarm clock rings. Max tells her when someone says her name. In the street, Max tells when he hears a siren. Max puts his paw on his owner's leg to communicate. Okay? So on your workbook on page 33, you are going to answer the following statements. Okay, true or false. Circle true if the statement is correct, and circle false if the statement is correct. Like for example in number 1, Max is a guide dog. Max is a guide dog. Is Max a guide dog? What does it say here? Max is a hearing dog. Therefore, the answer number 1 is true or false? False. So circle false because the statement is Max is a guide dog. And the correct answer is Max is a hearing dog. Number 2, Sylvia cannot hear. Sylvia cannot hear. Is it true or false? Max works with his ears. Max works with his ears. True or false? Max guides Sylvia along the pavement. Max guides Sylvia along the pavement. Is it true or false? Max makes a noise to communicate with Sylvia. Max makes a noise to communicate with Sylvia. True or false? Max puts his paw on Sylvia's leg to communicate. Max puts his paw on Sylvia's leg to communicate. Is it true or false? Okay, circle your answer if the statements are true or false. So you need first to read the story. Read first the story and then proceed in answering. I saw some of you finish this one already. And then for activity 2, write sentences about working dogs. What can you say about working dogs? Okay, this one is on your workbook also. So you're going to write at least 3 sentences about working dogs. What can you say about rescue dog? What can you say about hearing dogs? What can you say about Josh? What can you say about Milton? What can you say about Lady? And what can you say about Max? Is Max a strong dog? Or are they what's that? Is Max a rescue dog? Or do they work in the mountains? Okay, so I gave you an example, like for example Josh. Josh is a mountain rescue dog, right? So you can say here, Josh is a mountain rescue dog. Okay, but do not write that one because that is our example. So what else about that? Tell something about Josh, Milton, Lady, and then Max. Write 3 sentences only. Okay, write in your workbook. Okay, again on your workbook, not on your notebook. And then for your last activity, once you finish this one and then this one, you are going to take a video while reading the story about Max. this is your last reading. So take a video while reading the story about Max. Okay? So again, to summarize our lesson for today, our lesson for today is about the short story about Max. And our vocabulary for today, we have deaf. Deaf is anyone that cannot hear. Alarm clock. Siren. A siren is a device that gives sounds for alert or warning. Communicate, meaning to speak with. Street. Pole. And then the story. And then your first activity, page 33 in your workbook. And then the same page 33, write at least 3 sentences about working dogs, about Josh, about Lady, and about Milton and Max. And then last, you are going to take a video while reading the story about Max. Okay? So that's all for today. And our next topic is about a story which is entitled People Who Work in My Town. Okay, so that's our next story. People Who Work in My Town, that's our next story. So for your homework, this video, you can submit this one until in the evening. Okay, you can submit the video until the evening. So I think that's it for today. If you have any more question, just drop in our line again. Before we end up, if you are going to answer your workbook, please write your name on top. Okay, so for example, this is what you're going to answer, right? This one, you're going to answer this one, and then this one. Write your name here. Okay, write your name here. Do not forget to write your name here, so it will be easy for me to check. Understand? Okay, so that's it for today, and see you again tomorrow.